traveling the state to bring you the important issues facing Mississippi. This is the Mississippi Hometown Network.
From the day that he was elected as Mississippi's 64th governor, he believed that our state could compete with anyone and win. He believed that economic development was the key to growing opportunities for our citizens and took on the role as the state's #1 salesman. He believed that we could attract jobs, and in fact, we have. Last year, the largest single day announcement of job creation and investment happened with Continental Tire and Topship. Over thousands of jobs, billions of dollars worth of investment. He also believes it's just as important that we attract 300 jobs to places like Senatobia or 30 jobs to Louisville. Every single job matters. He believes Mississippi students can do better. This is why he pushed for the creation of the 3rd grade reading gate. And he saw firsthand how we rose to the occasion and scores increased drastically as a result of this. And he believes there are continued ways to improve educational outcomes in Mississippi. He believes it's important for Mississippi businesses to not be unfairly burdened with regulation and taxes, and has worked with Lieutenant Governor and the Speaker and the legislature to make sure we have a great business climate here in Mississippi that is focused on promoting growth. He believes all Mississippians deserve an opportunity to gain the skills and knowledge necessary for the jobs that are there today. That is why he pushed so hard for the passage of the Mississippi Works Fund, and we now have a sustained source of revenue for workforce training right here in Mississippi. He believes there's still work to be done, and he's willing to do it. Please join me in welcoming our governor, Phil Bryant.
Oh, good morning. Wow, I got you up on your feet. Good, thank you. Thank you, Bob. Let's have a hand for the band. All right, they'll be here all week. Tip your waitresses. Good to see y'all. Gosh, you look so serious out there, though. I mean, come on, this is time to celebrate. This is Hobnob. It is fall. Well, it's football season. Now, I'm going to leave that one right there. But we're going to get soon to go out and enjoy the great outdoors. I was opening guns and guides this morning. It's a great new shop in Madison, Mississippi. It's a young couple out there, and Hunter and Amanda went and they decided they would open this new business, and guns and guides, and they went out and borrowed money, and they put in this shop in Madison. And I went out and cut a ribbon this morning because the first lady had met Amanda at Blair Batson, and I said, I normally don't go out and open, small shops, and she said, I know Amanda. They were at Blair Batson. You're going to open this one? I said, yes, ma'am. But that's the entrepreneurial spirit in Mississippi, a young couple that goes out and says, we're going to invest all that we can. We're going to make sure that we're up early. We're there. We're working. We're going to help people who enjoy the great outdoors in Mississippi, that believe in the Second Amendment. Anybody here believe in the Second Amendment? Let's see how many of you are awake. You got to get involved. I'm going to ask you some questions, so get ready. We're going to take a test later. So they are going out, starting that new exciting business. MDA is here this morning. Glenn McCullough talked to you. I want to tell you, I don't think anybody in America's got a better MDA team, economic development team, than we do right here in the state of Mississippi. They're the best of the best. I know that because every time we go get a new business, they say, you've got a great team. I know that. I picked them. No, Glenn picked most of them, but I get the opportunity to find the coach. And we were just looking at 2016. I've got my flashcards with me this morning. I figured y'all want to see slides. Flashcards. Old-fashioned thing. Explain them to your children. So we looked at what has MDA done. We like database outcomes. They've helped create 5,512 jobs. These are only the economic development MDA jobs. Over 5,512 jobs, a $1.8 billion private capital investment. $1.8 billion. That's 1,000 million is a billion. That's a lot of private sector investment. You just met some of them here a few moments ago. We had a meeting this morning. They're the guys that are going to come in and build what we think will be the largest plant in the state of Mississippi's history. And we think the largest plant, we hope, will be the largest plant in Continental Tire's universe. They're here this morning. Y'all thank them. Tim Rogers, stand up. April Allen. Come on, April. Give them a hand. Continental Tire is coming to Mississippi, coming to Hinds County, and bringing with them 2,500 jobs. 2,500 people. I tried to think of something bigger that happened in Hinds County. Is anything any larger economic development? Never. Never. Biggest thing ever happened in the metro area. I'm excited. See, I live in Jackson. I live in the metro area in government housing. Not bad government housing, but I'm so proud to see our capital city have this opportunity for those young men and women, particularly those that are concerned about the middle skills. Those that come through our community colleges can go out and find one of those great jobs at Continental Tire. $1.45 billion investment this company's making here. $1.45 billion. Again, it was the single largest day of job investment in Mississippi's history. I love those days. They're exciting to me. When we also talked to companies like ABB, and we said, it'd be so hard to get this company. This is a high-tech manufacturing company, and they're looking for a very special place to locate. And, of course, that very special place is right here in Mississippi. ABB is located in Senatobia, Mississippi. The thing that excited me about this, Sam, is we had an empty building. I hate empty buildings. I like people in them paying rent. It was a Twin Creek. It was a company that had started and then failed, and so we were looking for somebody in ABB that's advanced manufacturing in the electronic world, new conductors and condensers and energy-saving programs that they manufacture there are being created in an 85,000 square foot building in Senatobia, Mississippi that was closed that we were still having to pay the rent on. That's another great day. This is a global company that are hiring 300 people within the next 5 years, most of them engineers. Young men and women, a lot of them coming out of Oxford and Ole Miss that are so excited about what's going on that because they can stay here, they don't have to go out and find a job in some strange place like Texas or South Carolina. They want to stay home, and we want to have them here. Y'all may have heard the other day that we had another exciting announcement, Raytheon. Raytheon makes the most advanced radar systems in the world. Come on, Meridian. Lauderdale County, get up. They already make the most advanced radar systems in the world in Forest, Mississippi. If you go to Israel, and I will be the latter part of November, you will see what they call the Iron Dome and David Sling, and it is there in large part because of Raytheon manufacturing those radar systems that are protecting Tel Aviv and Israel from the attacks that are coming there. Manufactured in Forest, Mississippi. Now, if we're very lucky, I was meeting with the Secretary of the Air Force yesterday at Keesler Air Force Base, the #1 Air Force base in all of the United States of America is in Biloxi, Mississippi, at Keesler. Everybody that goes to the cyber security training in the United States Air Force has to do so in Biloxi, Mississippi. Bet you didn't know that. I get to see these wonderful things. And as I sat there with the Secretary of the Air Force and Senator Roger Wicker and the Chief of Staff, Keith Hurd with Thad Cochran's office, we talked about one thing and one thing only. One thing I wanted to talk about, the T-100. T-100 will be the future training platform for the United States Air Force. Now, she didn't tell me that, and that we have to go through an RFP system, and I understand that, but I believe in what we can do. You see, the T-100's flying now in Israel. So as I go over there, I will be able to see what we are doing now, what Raytheon is doing with the most advanced trainer platform for the United States Air Force the Air Force has ever known. Most of the trainers that they're using now could have been used by John Glenn, a 50-year-old. 50-year-old airplanes we're putting our war fighters in. We're going to change that, and we're going to start right in Meridian, Mississippi, Mr. Speaker. This is so amazing. 500,000 automobiles a year, the most advanced warships on the planet at Ingalls. We're making the new ships for the United States Coast Guard that are needed so desperately for Homeland Security, right there in Pascagoula, Mississippi. And now we're going to be making the trainer for the United States Air Force. Imagine, if you would, just a few short years ago to realize what we are doing in the state of Mississippi regarding the manufacturing for our war fighters. It's remarkable. In Oxford, Mississippi, we manufacture 70% of the center and rimfire cartridges for Winchester. Many of those go to our men and women who are still in harm's way. Those products come out of the state of Mississippi. They are the product of freedom around the world, and they're manufactured by Mississippians. So we're excited about where we're at. Are we generating any revenue? I have heard, y'all may have heard today. I know you heard about Raytheon. I was bragging about that, put it on my Facebook. It was actually on page 7 of the Clarion Ledger. We made page 7. We're getting there. I started, I guess, 3B, so we actually got page 7, so I was ahead of the curve. So you've heard about this. Oh, those Republicans up there, those old rascally Republicans, they're giving all the tax cuts to corporations, and we don't have enough money coming in. Oh, woe is us. The world is going to collapse because they're helping their big old corporate buddies. How many of you here how many of you work for a corporation? Be honest now. Like corporations like Nissan and Ingalls, and raise your hand, Yates, and let's see, Gannett. Yeah, if you work for one of those rascal corporate, most of us have at one time or will at one point in our life work for a corporation. They create jobs, manufacture the greatest products in the world. They let many of our citizens live the American dream. They also pay taxes. As a matter of fact, last year, just right now, this year, the third quarter of this year, corporate taxes have been collected, $4,394,967,000. That is up 3.72%. Let me say that again. Corporate taxes in Mississippi for this third quarter, have gone up. That means there's more of them. More corporate taxes have been collected, so we'll be able to spend more on education, more on public safety, more on transportation, more on health care. Because corporate taxes that we have been able to lower increase more opportunity for us to get more corporations and more companies to expand right here in Mississippi. Now, we talked earlier about the franchise tax. Oh, my goodness, that dreaded franchise tax, that big favor we did for our corporate buddies. Let's see what Forbes magazine called the corporate franchise tax the best tax cut in America for 2016. Not a bad job. I like cutting taxes. I think I'm leading the SEC in cutting taxes. Now, I know I've read where it's over 40. I think it's over 50. Over 50 tax cuts in the last 5 years. I enjoy doing that. We're going to keep right on doing it because we think it'll help build the economy in the state of Mississippi. So, education. Lieutenant Governor and the Speaker have done a remarkable job. We've come further, faster in education than we ever have in any time in Mississippi's history. You just look at the test scores, look at the graduation rates. Look at what we've been able to do to expand special needs, expand charter schools, the third grade gate. Oh, I remember when we passed the third grade gate, it's a radical idea. Now, hold on. It says you can't be socially promoted to the fourth grade unless you can read on the third grade level. That's cutting edge stuff. I didn't have to hire anybody. I didn't have to do any research. I figured that one out on my own, that you need to be able to read on the third grade level. So all of the things that we've put together indicates that our children are doing better in the third grade. They are able to obtain higher levels of graduation. You will see pretty soon a plan that we talked about where we will be able to identify 50,000 Mississippians that should have an associate's degree today. 50,000. They may have gone to school and they completed enough hours at Mississippi State or Ole Miss or Southern, and they just didn't get that degree. And we're going to make sure that we have this sort of transfer back to community colleges and let them get that associate's degree. That will bring us to a national level for the graduation of associates within our community college system. So as we looked at that, there was a great organization called the Education Commission of the States. The Education Commission of the States are a group of governors that go together, and we have our own Education Commission, and we select each year the state that's done the very best, the most innovative state in America. For 2016, that state's Mississippi. Now, in what world, and thank you all to give that an applause. The most innovative education state in the state of Mississippi in the world is in the United States, the state of Mississippi. 92% of the third graders pass their exam. 92% of the third graders pass their reading exam. When I came into office, that number was 54%. I enjoy telling you these things. I enjoy telling you that tourism is to the point in the state of Mississippi where we used to get $6 back for every $1 we invested. We're now getting $10 back in tourism for every dollar we invested. Let me give you a few tourism numbers, and I'm going to let you eat, I promise you. I got lots of good things I could tell you. I was down on the coast a few weeks ago at Cruising the Coast. 8,000 automobiles are registered. There's probably 10,000 classic automobiles and hot rods on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. 100,000 people showed up. That's like the 22 million people that visited the state of Mississippi last year. So far this year, hotel rooms, sales of hotel rooms have increased 2.8%. We're selling more hotel rooms. Hotel inventory grew by 1.9%, and revenue for each room grew by 5.6%. That means they're charging more for hotel rooms, and they're selling more of them. I don't know how that's working out, except more people want to come to the state of Mississippi. Our hotel average daily rate increased 2.7%. Travel and tourism expenditures topped $6 billion for the third year in a row. $6 billion. People all around the world that are coming here. Now, I can tell you I am very fortunate. As I was at Keesler yesterday, meeting with the Secretary of the Air Force, as I get to travel all over this state from the Delta, as I was going over to Southern Comfort not long ago to make sure that they expand 600 new jobs in upholstered manufacturing, furniture manufacturing, in Northeast Mississippi. Southern Motion. Southern Comfort's something else, isn't it? I think I heard about that during college. But anyway, Southern Motion. 600 new jobs. Now, everyone said, you know, the furniture industry's dead. It's never going to come back. We are going to take the first $250,000 of the Mississippi Works Fund, and we're going to build a furniture academy in Northeast Mississippi, working with Northeast Community College and Itawamba Community College, so we can train enough people to actually be able to fit the demand of the furniture industry in Northeast Mississippi, because it's growing by leaps and bounds. I'm proud to be here today to be able to tell you some of these things. I could go on more and more, but I know it is time for you to enjoy your dinner and more fellowship. Have we got challenges in Mississippi? Absolutely. None of us ignore that. We know the budget can be a challenge at times. We know that just here with the crime that occurs when we're trying so hard to deter it. We understand that our children, in particularly in the foster care environment, need all the help all the time that we can give them. That's why the legislature helped me create an entire new state agency to help manage our foster children in the state of Mississippi. We'll never let them down. That is the opportunities I get as governor, and I thought I'd come today and share a few of them with you. Thank you for having me.
I want to share a couple of sports facts with you about the state of Mississippi. Again, as we talk about celebrating our bicentennial. How many of y'all knew that T-ball, the popular game that all our kids play growing up, actually was formulated and first played in Starkville in 1961? And in fact, The game that was designed and devised is still the basic game that is played today by all of our youth. So that happened right here in Mississippi. Secondly, in 1882, the first heavyweight championship fight was held at Mississippi City. The term knockout was created or came from that fight because it was used after John L. Sullivan won the fight in 8 rounds. So again, just some really neat things that are right here and unique to Mississippi that we'll have the opportunity to celebrate over the next year. Our next speaker this morning is State Auditor Stacey Pickering. As State Auditor, he's really focused on accountability in state government and has recovered over $25 million in embezzled, misappropriated, or misspent taxpayer money. He's responsible for ensuring that all state agencies are using best practices to make efficient use of state dollars. But he serves us in so many other ways. He is a chaplain in the Mississippi Air National Guard in the 253rd Air Support Squadron. He has been honored for his support of employees who serve in the Mississippi National Guard and Reserves, and he's also a dedicated troop leader for the Boy Scouts of America. He is now serving in his 3rd term. Please join me in welcoming State Auditor Stacey Pickering.
Good morning and welcome to Hobnob. We're glad to be here with you today. It's an annual event. It's great to see so many friends from across not just the state of Mississippi, but the region and the nation that have flown in to be with us today. Not just to talk about business and politics, but talk about the future of our society. It's a privilege serving as your state auditor day in and day out. I got a great staff that we get to work with, and it's a great reputation. As you've heard time and time again, Mississippi is ranked in the top 10 states at enforcing our own public corruption laws. We take right versus wrong seriously in Mississippi, and I get to be that spokesman, that point person with our staff protecting our state's reputation, our state's integrity. Just in the last 6 months alone, we've issued over $750,000+ of demands for individuals who've misspent, misappropriated, or embezzled our tax dollars. Just this week alone, we've already arrested one individual in North Mississippi and New Albany for embezzling almost $300,000 from the city of New Albany in the municipal courts. And just yesterday, in Tallahatchie County, we had a deputy tax assessor who pled guilty to embezzling taxpayer dollars and betraying the trust of the people she worked for. We get to do that every day on your behalf. And on behalf of the staff of the Office of State Auditor, thank you for that privilege for allowing us to protect Mississippi's reputation. We've done a great job as a state rooting out public corruption, embezzlement, theft, misuse. But one of the biggest areas we've got to work on and focus on for the rest of this term and going forward is the misappropriation and the mismanagement of state and federal tax dollars. Right now, in Mississippi, over a half a dozen state agencies are facing a potential of $104 million clawback. $104 million in taxpayer money, grants given from the federal government, that we're looking at federal agencies looking to claw back to the federal government. That would be a loss to us, the taxpayers of Mississippi. It's not embezzled, it's not stolen, it's just they didn't follow the rules of spending the federal dollars. We have investigators from various Office of Inspector Generals in Mississippi today. Auditors from various Inspector General's offices today looking and checking and double checking how our state agencies have managed our federal dollars. The legislature last year increased the general funding for the auditor's office, and we've already hired 15 new auditors that are already in the field protecting Mississippi, working to address not just the fraud, but the mismanagement, the incompetence that has taken place that has put us at risk of losing $104 million. We're asking the legislature to continue that commitment to fighting waste, to continue that commitment in January, and we're going to need your help to make sure that we do that. $104 million could go a long way in public education in Mississippi. $104 million will go a long way in public safety. It would go a long way to our roads and bridges. We have to take the mismanagement and misappropriation of our tax dollars seriously in Mississippi, and the legislature, as I said, has started that process. 15 new auditors, and right now we opened up new positions and are looking to hire more going into the next year. Our commitment to you, the taxpayers of Mississippi, is not just to root out corruption, the embezzlers, the thieves, but also to work on the incompetence and the mismanagement and the misappropriation that is costing our state dearly. With your help and with the legislature's continued support, we will make a difference for future generations when it comes to the appropriation and the management of Mississippi taxpayer dollars. Thank y'all for the privilege of allowing me to serve as your state auditor, to work with a great staff at Audit, to work on your behalf to protect Mississippi. Thank y'all for being at Hobnob and allowing us to be with you today, and look forward to visiting with you and having a cup of coffee with you this morning.
We always look forward to this event, share a little bit of our record, but also some of the issues the state's facing when it comes to financial management, misappropriation, and embezzlement issues that the business community can help get behind, get good legislation passed. We're going to be calling on some better management of our federal programming dollars that are coming into Mississippi when it comes to mismanagement, misappropriation, having trained staff in place. It's one of the weaknesses we have uncovered and found in the last several years, and so we're asking the business community today to help us as a state from accountability, from responsibility, make sure that we have trained, accountable individuals when it comes to managing not just our state tax dollars, but our federal tax dollars.
Tell us a little bit about the importance of the business community getting involved in the political process.
Well, you know, not only the fact these are the voters, but these are employers. These are folks from across the state who have folks that work for them that influence, help get the message out that they need to be involved in the political process locally, state, and at the federal level. You know, we had a presidential election this year, as we all know, and the business community, the business leaders can help motivate people to be involved to make sure our voice is heard every election, local, state, and federal.
This has been the Mississippi Hometown Network. If you have any questions, please email us.
I participated personally in over 70 ribbon cuttings last year. I've seen about 10 national.
From serving in the office of governor
for the state of Mississippi,
for the state of Mississippi,
that I will faithfully
And the Miss America pageant live from Atlantic City on September 13th, 2015.
you all have a flourish, where government is designed to support innovation and encourage economic growth.
Mayor Eddie Fulton with it. So once again,
I was first alternate 2 years ago, and so it's a very similar experience in France.
At the twilight's last gleaming, who's brought
To our semifinalists and all of our fantastic contestants, they were absolutely tremendous. Don't you agree?